Hello, welcome to Sparkle Pixie. Today I'm going to be doing a Scrabble board. I was a little disappointed with how small it is, but then I realized this would make a lovely travel Scrabble. So that's my goal today. I'm going to make this for myself. And I have not decided what colors to do yet. So I think we'll start with the board. It doesn't quite, it just fits in my camera there. Hopefully that'll work. And we will see what we shall see. So I'm gonna go pick my colors and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my favorite colors are pink and purple. So I think I'm going to stick with something along those lines, like with the board. I'm thinking I'm going to just use my Sharpie oil-based paint. I don't know if you can see that there. Oil-based paint pen, and I'm just going to try and highlight the double word scores and things. I have a few different pens. I probably shouldn't shake and talk at the same time. So I think I'll use the purple for the double word scores and pink for one of the others and maybe a blue, and we'll see. So it is an oil-based paint, so it should stick to the silicone pretty well. But I do find these ones sometimes will kind of puddle up, but these are such tiny spaces. I'm just doing, it has the little double word score symbols raised. Yeah, see, this W is puddling rather than covering nicely. But I think if I do a couple coats, it should be fine, and make sure I let it dry before I add the resin. All right, so I've got them all colored, sort of. Some of the colors are doing better at adhering than others. And I'm not too worried about it because, like, these are raised, so after you pour the resin in and flip it over, they'll be indented into the resin, and so you can always fill it up later with like some UV resin or something, colored UV resin, to just even out that color a bit. So I'm not too worried. I think I've got them all. And what I'm planning to do is I'm going to put some color around the outside edge. I'm debating what color. I'm thinking kind of just put a clear purple just in this little outside edge. Now, saying that and looking at this mold, there's no divider between the outside edge and the lines in between the pieces. So what I may end up doing is filling in those little lines with purple as well, which could be tricky because those are some very thin lines, but we'll do it. I'm thinking I will use my Let's Resin dye, and let's see what color we have. We do have a nice purple that I like in here. So yeah, here it is, violet. Can you see that? Violet. Can't tell if it's, yeah, Let's Resin violet. So I will do that just around the outside edges and through the divider lines. And then I will put over the top, I will use one of my white resin powders, which are all of my mica powders, or most of my mica powders are just like no-name brand little packages that you get off Temu or places like that, because I can't afford this expensive stuff. Whoops. And of course, cat hair. So I will, not sure how much resin I'll need. I mean, I wouldn't think very much, but we shall see. I use Estoyo resin. So this is part B, Estoyo 1:1 ratio. It has approximate 40 minutes of working time and 24 hours cure time. So I will mix that up and we'll be right back. Okay, so I accidentally over poured And so I'm doing 4 ounces instead of 2, but that's okay. And, oh, just going to get my little timer out. I use an egg timer. And here we go. Okay, so I've mixed my resin with a little bit of, when I put it through my bubble remover, but I should have put my dye in first, because that would have been smart. I'm going to put about 5 drops in there and then stir. And yes, there's some bubbles in there because I was impatient and took it out early, and because I realized I hadn't added my color anyway, I was going to be stirring it again anyway, so we will just deal with the bubbles as they happen. We don't have a big workspace, so I kind of have to do what I can do where I can do it. Alright. See, I mean, that's still a really light color. Like, it looks quite deep in the cup, but this is going to be a fairly thin layer, especially in these little thin lines. So I think I'm going to add a little more. Can you see what I'm doing? Maybe if we move this over here, can you see it better over here? Maybe off to the side a bit. The other side, can you see it through? Here we go. Put another 5 drops. And if we drip a little bit on the paper towel, that's the way most people do it, you can kind of see what color you're going to get when it's thin. Right, so I think I want it a little darker than that even. So let's get a little bit more in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's hard to see. All right. And I was thinking I would like, this is the, tile holder. Thinking I'd try and fill that with purple too. We'll start with that. So let's put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol in there. And now the thing is, it doesn't stand up very well. It's kind of off to the side here. I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but I'm not sure if I can. Do you see it better over here? Maybe a little. So I'm not sure. And we're going to pour a little tiny stream just to see if we can get some of those little bubbles out. Okay, how much did that take? I had 4 ounces and I now have, looks like about 3. Okay, so that took about an ounce. Okay. Then we could top it up a little more. But now we need to start over here. And again, I'm going to pour really super slowly just because I want to, I think I'll do a little bit of a spritz of this. So you can see even the littlest bit seems to fill this up quite quickly. Whoop. Whoop. Yeah, let's don't do that. Let's put that down for a second. And clean up my little mess here. Let's see if we can do this. Push it into there. Yeah, getting it into these really little tiny spots here is going to be a bit of a struggle, frankly. Because they're super tiny. If this is my tiniest, is that the tiniest one? Do I have a tiny? Oh, I have a tinier one. Whoop, I have a tinier one. Can you see that? We'll try this one. Well, give me my isopropyl alcohol again. See if we can get things flowing a bit here. Oh, alcohol's not the best smelling stuff. Alright. Let's see. Maybe, well, let's get a little more on the outside edge here, then we'll clean up the middle. And maybe having the isopropyl there will help it to flow a bit into those places. I am not the steadiest of hands, and that is not what I wanted to do. I really did not want to pour that. This is all going well today. Yep. I do not have the steadiest of hands at times. And I know I have a tool. If I can find it in my... I literally thought, there it is. Hiding behind something else. So we can do this. I mean, that might be, actually, ugh. Oh, crap. Ew, it's like doing nasty things. Okay. Lessons learned. 1. When you're painting your things, paint from the inside out. Because I started kind of over here, and then I had to try and do these while not smudging those. 2. Maybe paint them after you put your outside edge on. Because they're just smudging everywhere. So I'm going to have to basically take them all off and then repaint them, I think. Which is okay. Lessons learned, and we'll move on. So, take the lesson that I learned and paint your thing after you, like if you're going to do a separate colored outside edge, do it after you've put your outside edge on, because I'm just realizing the easiest way to get this in here is to like just smear it across like that and then wipe it off, right? But that's just gonna smear all my hard work on my letters. Okay, let's do this. Let's just do this and take them. I mean, it's sad, it was hard work, but we learned a lesson, and we move on, right? The only thing you can do. Learn your lesson and move on. This is a great example of how not to do this. Do not do as I do. It off. Don't want that. Into the resin, the stuff that I was just using to clean it up. Okay, I think that will do. Ugh, and this thing's falling out. Like, see, I knew that was not a good idea. Falling over into the mold. This is, it doesn't stand up straight by itself, and I have nothing. Oh my goodness, what a mess! What a mess. Look at this. Okay, that is not okay. That is a mold, a badly designed mold, bottom line. I'm just gonna dump this in here for the moment, and I will come back to it. So we will do this, and we will just pour this all over everything. And then we will work with it. So we don't have enough left, I don't think. Yeah, that's another thing I didn't really think about, but whatever. This might be too much resin for what I need. I'm just not thinking clearly. Obviously. Okay, so we can just scooch this across here. Across here. And we can just scooch it over to the sides. And then we can take out whatever we don't need. Yes, we definitely don't need this much resin in here, but let's make sure we've got all these little bits filled up. Okay, now we can do this. Now we do the tedious bit. You know, the main thing to remember with resin is don't sweat it. Like, you know, I goofed up. I've several times tonight. I've had lots of other things that I've done perfectly fine, but tonight, nope. And that's okay. Lessons are learned. We move on. And we don't make those mistakes again. Next time I'll know what to do. Okay, there we go. See, we got that all back out. It's not perfect yet, but we will get there. Now I have to figure out what to do with this. How am I going to keep that upright? Gripping on the board, but I don't want to risk this falling over and having resin everywhere as it's drying. So at least if it's on the board, it's just going to stay on the board, which is more important than, it's more important it stays away from the floors than it is that it stays away from the board. Follow my meaning there. If it drips onto the board, oh well, I can deal with that later. But dripping onto like your floors or your furniture would not be a good thing. Okay, and now I still have about an ounce of resin left. What do I want to do? Maybe a bunny rabbit? Don't remember. So let's find out. Create a little stuff down in there. Let's see, do we get that down on the ears? Do a little squishy. Squishy, squishy. Squishy, yeah, it's definitely a rabbit of some sort. It's got long ears in there. What else do I have handy? No, that wouldn't be. Oops. One of these little flowers. Another little. I have a rose. I don't know if that's enough for a rose. Have another small flower. This one is a little carnation one, maybe? Maybe? We'll find out. Well, we would have had enough for a rose. That's too much. That's way too much. Whoopsie doodle. Do it again. It's just not my night, guys. Not at all. Oh dear. Give me my scrapey thing. Can I scrape into there? Maybe? Maybe? Yes. Sort of, but now there's not enough in there. Okay. That's that. Okay, let's see. It's another rose. And like this one. Ooh, a sunflower. Purple sunflower? Sure, why not? Let's give her a try. I think this will be my last one, even if I have a little bit left. I'm not going to worry about it because it's getting kind of really slow and molasses-y and thick. I'll clean my tools, and then I can take off my gloves, and then we can hope that this will maybe. Like, I'm concerned that this is going to leave a mark on the resin underneath, but I really don't trust that. I really don't trust this to stay standing upright, and if it fell over just on the side here, it would go all over my work area, and that is not not ideal. I would rather it be in there and risk a little bit of like dullness in there. Because I mean, I'm going to put another layer on top, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave this for tonight. Let it finish drying. Let it start drying or curing. And then tomorrow we can do the next layer. Alright. Later. Okay, so exactly what I thought happened, or thought was going to happen is here with where this was sitting, like this, and then I had these kind of propping it up. When I pulled them up, they did get stuck, as I thought they were going to do, and when I pulled them up, they started pulling up. See the little bits in the groove here? So now I have to figure out how to fix that. And yeah, there are little bits of like little droplets all over the place on the squares, but that is totally easy to get rid of. You just grab your piece of tape, rub it down, and it sticks, it comes off, and it's not pulling the I don't know what you call those, the lines up. So I have to figure out what to do in this middle here. See, like it's just pulling up, it's taking up the little bits quite nicely, and it all gets stuck to your tape. Oop, there we go. And then you can just get rid of it. So that's not the problem. That wasn't what I was worried about. What I'm worried about is what to do about these lines in the center. Now, what I could do is I could clean this off and then just refill the lines with another pouring of the clear, the purple colored, which I mean would work. I could do that. I'm not sure. I was hoping to pour the next layer today. I didn't want to have to do another, I'd have to fix this and pour this and then wait for it to dry before I could pour the white backing. But I think that's what I'm gonna have to do to save this, which is fine. We're gonna do what we have to do to get it all nice and tidy, and I'm not gonna make you sit through this. I'll come back when I have cleaned it all, cleaned this up, and I'm ready to pour again. All right? Okay, so I've got most of the little extra bits off, and now I'm going to try and deal with this. And I think the best way is I'm just going to peel it off as best as I can, and then snip off the lines that it's pulling up, and then I will come back with some more resin and fill in this bit across here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it will fill in all those little bits, the last little bits, and then we'll be able to do the next coat. But we have to fix this first. So I'm gonna finish this and then we'll come back. Okay, so I just need to fill this in, but I thought first I would unmold these little flowers. Now these things, had quite a bit of overpour there. Let's look at this one. This one's a little better. They're still quite bendy, because it's been a full 24 hours, but actually I should show you those a little better. That's that one, and that's that one. I saved these, and I either put a magnet on back and make a nice little magnet. You can make a little brooch out of it. You can put a little brooch on the back. They're clear. So I think what I will do for these ones is save them and use them in another project. Okay, So, and last one is our little bunny of some sort. Now he's thicker, so he should be completely... Oh, there we go. Oh, what a cute bunny. Oh, that's so cute. I don't know how well you can see that there. Interesting. Like it's a little bit shiny and then it goes really not shiny. I don't know if that's the mold or if that's some artifact of the way I poured it, or because the resin was heating up. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see what we can do with that. With zhuzhing them up a little bit, as they say. And let's try and unmold this. I want to see how this turns out, because I would like to potentially pour the second one today, maybe. It's still a little bendy though, so I don't really want to misshapen it. But there we go. Alright, well it's got a few bubbles there along the edge, right there. Which, like I said, this is just for me and my husband. Okay, I tried to get this a little more centered here. I'm not sure if I did. So I think I couldn't find anything that fit this and fit on my workspace. So I'm hoping if I kind of wedge it between this and these two molds, it'll stay. But I'm going to start in the middle here. So I've mixed up my I mixed up 2 ounces and I put 10 drops of purple. I'm hoping that will kind of match what we had before. We still have some bubbles in there, but I don't think for our purpose that's really going to matter. So I just want to I have a little bit of resin on still. Stick that in the garbage. Okay. Now I'm going to have to do, like, I cleaned up and I wiped everything, and I'm going to have to do that again tomorrow once this is dry. But I just want to get all of this into the little holes, and I should have started with a spritz of rubbing alcohol. It's a bottle I refilled, but it's 97%. Could be 99, I'm not sure off the top of my head, because I have 5 big bottles and then refill that one. So it looks like it's going in really nice. I might add another little drop, maybe just a drop or 2, because I don't want to do what I did last night. And this corner seems really, really thin compared to the others, so I'm going to try and put a little bit in there and not go over. Try and even it out a little bit, and I'll use a silicone tool and it should, like this resin, I don't know if it's cold in here or what, but this resin is a lot thicker than I remember it being. And I'm not really happy. Like, I had that's Let's Resin. I had a Stoya before, and it wasn't this thick. I don't remember it being this thick. Okay, see, we're puddling already, so that's good. So that means I'll just have little bits to pick off in the morning. Well, tomorrow night, because I don't generally do resin in the morning. Okay, I think I have all the bits. I think the side is nice. I'm going to give this a spritz of alcohol. I'm going to give this a spritz of alcohol just to release any bubbles that are there. This looks better. It looks more purple. Okay. And now I can try. Oh, give me that alcohol again. I'm just going to spritz this to help with the bubbles. Help release those bubbles. And and help it get down into the small places. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing on the edge of the screen here, but I'm just going to pour slowly. So let's see, how's that doing? It's not domed, but I think it's full enough. I don't know that. Did I dome this one? Let's see. Yeah, no, definitely it's going to need some trimming. So I don't know that it matters if it's on. And I'm only making two of these for this set because it's just for my husband and I for going camping. Like I'm not selling it. There's not going to be 4 people playing, or I doubt there's going to be 4 people playing. At least not on its first usage anyway. So I have the mold. I can always make more later if I want to. Alright, so I do have, how much do I have left here? First of all, I have stuff dripping down the side. I don't like that. And my gloves get all dirty. Let's see, we have about an ounce left. You know what? I could do another bunch. Tiny bit left that I could do a little something with. Is this full enough? Should I do another drip in there without overflowing it? We're gonna find out. And you can't see. Can you even see that far off the edge? I don't know if you can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I said, I have a very small workspace, so I'm making do with what I've got. And yeah, I think there's too much to fit in there, but I have enough for the little birdie. Almost full, but not quite. But see, we're already getting some. The problem I have with this mold is I always end up with little micro bubbles under the chin here. Let's see, how's that chin looking? So far, so good. Maybe it'll work. Although I'm a little tiny short. Actually, an idea. I have this container of resin scraps, and when you come across a piece like this that is not quite full, you can take little pieces of resin scraps. Now, it might not work because it's clear. It's a translucent. I'm going to try breaking up little pieces of resin. This one has a little sparkle in it, so it might make it pretty. It's a whitish clear. And we can dip it down into the center, and hopefully it'll bring that up. But it's working. It's bringing that level back up. A couple more pieces and we'll call it done. I think we're good. I think we're pretty much at the top, and we will see what that turns out like. I may have introduced some bubbles with that as well as I shoved this stuff in there, but it's a lot fuller than it was. Alright, I am going to call that for tonight, and we'll get back to this tomorrow. Alright guys, I'm just going to put my gloves on here. Give me a second, but it worked. As you can see here, all of it is nice and fixed. You can't tell that there was a big swath of it that I had to pull out, and it's, like in a lot of ways, resin is just very forgiving. It's, you know, unless you mix like colors that don't go together, or the color's muddy or something like that, there's usually something you can do to fix it. I seem to have got a little bit of paint on there. I could probably pull that off with a little bit of alcohol if I'm lucky. So I cleaned it. I cleaned all, yeah, that'll come up. That will come up nicely. Okay, there we go. My little spot of alcohol off of there. There it is. And there was another spot over here where I kind of smudged the paint a little bit around the letters. So I just want to tidy that up a little bit. But what I did was I cleaned it. There's still a few little dots here, but I'm not too worried about that. Because like I said, I'm doing another coat. It's all nice and dry. I did the painting, redid the painting, the letter, you know, the double word, triple letter, double letter, triple word scores. And they've had time to dry. That's important. Because last time I was rushing a little bit and I hadn't planned to go over them and they were smudging and you saw the whole kerfuffle, right? So I'm gonna demold this. We'll start with that. Again, it's still a little bendy. It has been 24 hours, but this is still fairly better bendy. The one that I did yesterday, yeah, still a tiny bit bendy, but much better. So by the time I want to use these, they'll be fine. So I'm just going to try and mold this as best as I can. And I will probably pour another one. Whoa, oh, look at that. That's a little, was a little too bent. I probably should have left that in there a bit. But this one, no bubbles, much better. It will need the bottom trimmed once it's stabilized. Okay, and we'll look at our little bird here that I hope turned out. I'm really curious to see how this one turns out, because I want to see how those different resin pieces fit in there. So yeah, there's like, because I use different colored pieces, you can tell that they're in there a little bit, but it looks pretty cool, I think. I think that looks pretty nice. Yeah. I'm happy with that. So that's good. This is good. Oh, we have another bunny to unmold. Let's see how this one turned out. These are nice soft molds, which is nice. Now, how does this one differ from this one? Whoop. Okay, the arms are little. It's got a cute little heart-shaped purse on. This one is just has like just a little teardrop shaped purse bag. And again, it's a very weird mold. Like, it's coming out sort of a little bit shiny and a little bit matte. It's weird. It's not like a shiny mold, but it's not like a matte mold either. So, but those are cute. I will paint those up and things to make them all fancy when we're done. So now all we have to do is pour the white layer. And I was thinking, I told you I was making this as a travel Scrabble game. Probably should be saying word game. Scrabble's probably trademarked, but let's face it, it's like a crossword game. Okay, so I need to finish this, but I was thinking, like I said, I want to make a travel game out of this, so something that I can take with us when we go camping. Okay, and I'm thinking, how fun would it be if it glowed in the dark? So I have some glow powders. I don't have very, like, they're little tiny thingies with a little bit of glow powder, and I haven't used glow powder a lot, so I'm not sure the best way to use it. And I've heard that you have to put a lot in to get a little bit of glow. And I made a few things with glow powder, and I did find that, you know, it didn't necessarily glow that great. And I've found there's heard recommendations that there's better ones to get. These are, again, most of the stuff I buy is just little stuff off like Temu. I don't know why it's called Colorful Carving Pattern Powder, but it glows in the dark. I don't know. So I don't know how well this will glow in the dark, but I'm gonna try. I'm thinking I'll put most of this in this one, and then when it comes to the letters, I'll use the pink and the purple. I'll put these in. So we'll have glow in the dark letters and glow in the dark board, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna go mix up my resin, and then I'll come back and pour, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, be right back. Okay, I'm just waiting for my resin to finish up in the bubble remover. This here is where I put my, just rest it like that on it and let it drip, but I've cleaned it now, so it's all ready for next use. I mixed about 4 of these size heaping spoonsful of white mica powder into the resin. And so once it's done in the bubble remover, it's got a couple more minutes, we'll be ready to pour. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I put all 3 of these little containers of glow powder in it. So hopefully it's gonna glow. I think that'll be super fun. I have no idea what these colors are. They're not labeled. They're just maybe green. Although there's a green one in there, so I don't know. They were just the whitish looking ones, so I'm hoping they'll glow pretty. Does it help? Ooh, yeah. Greeny. Haha, it's gonna be cool. Okay, so I have about 4 ounces or 110 milliliters. I don't know that I'll need that much, but I didn't want to have not enough, and I don't know, this is a fairly big board. Like, it didn't take much, but you know, looking at this, I don't think 4 ounces is even going to be enough. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to do that again, which, don't know what that's going to mean for the glow powder and how glowy it'll be. Yeah, it's going to be a really thin layer if I don't do it some more. All right, so this definitely takes a fair bit more than I thought it would. So I guess, I mean, I should have known because I put 4 ounces on the other day, right? It did not cover the whole thing. All right, I'm going to do up, I think, another 4 ounces, and I'll be right back. So because I wasn't sure that another 4 ounces would be enough, I've done up 6 ounces. Whoops, bumped the camera there. So I'm going to mix up another 6 ounces, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this one, the currently poured one, all the way to the edges to just make sure that that glow powder gets all the way to the edges, and then the first layer will hopefully be all the one with the glow powder, because I don't have any more whitish or greenish. Like, I don't want it to affect the color when it's not glowing, you know, so I don't want to put like a pink powder in or a green powder, because I don't want it to look green. I want it to look white. So I'm going to finish stirring this as best as I can. I have a few minutes left, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have this all stirred. I can put my timer away, and I'm just going to try and get this, encourage this to just do a, I don't want to lift the, I also don't want to smudge the letters, but I don't want to break the seal on what's already there. But I just want to try and get this as close to the edge as I can, so that everything has some glow powder on it, hopefully. And hopefully hopefully this will still glow nicely. We'll find out. Everything is an experiment. Like, actually, quite surprised that this has covered a fair bit of it. Like, I'm trying to get it right to the edge. It's not full by any means, but it's covered more than I thought it would. I didn't think it would actually get all to the edge. And it's like you can still see everything underneath it, so it's definitely not enough yet, because you want a nice solid background, you know, for your board. So I'm just gonna pop those in a silicone container over there to not spill everywhere. So hopefully this will make it nice and opaque. And like I said, because I don't know how much this holds, I know there's ways to figure it out, but I am lazy and frankly, guesstimating is half the fun. Can I guess right? And I usually do pretty good. And I don't mind having like extra, like I said, I have a little thing of extra things that I use for other projects, and I always have 12 dozen projects going, right? So it doesn't really matter if I have extra resin. There's always something I can use it with. Okay, so I have definitely gotten, like, I'm down to 2 ounces. Okay. I don't think I care if it is completely domed. I don't mind trimming it a little bit or sanding it a little bit. Again, like I said, it's just for me. I'm not overly worried about it being absolutely perfect. And even if it was for somebody else, like, part of handmade is that there are slight imperfections. Like, that doesn't mean I, you know, do things by half or whatever. Like, I'm not saying don't care about what you make. I'm just saying, you know, give yourself a little grace. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it probably won't be perfect because resin is resin. Resin kind of does what it wants, and every day is a learning experience. So I've just doused it with a little bit of alcohol there to help pop the bubbles. And whew, I am going to try and pour another one of these. I think I might have just enough left for it. All worthy of it. How much do I have left? Oh, I have an ounce left. Okay, so I could do a bunny. This one somehow has a hair in it already. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do this one. I have a white little bunny. Okay, I have... Does that really only take like half an ounce? So I could do both of them? Let's do both of them. Let's do it! And then go squishy, squishy, squishy. Squishy, squishy, squishy. And then we'll put that there to keep that upright. And then, you know, I watch people scraping out the cups on other YouTube channels. And I'm going like, it looks so graceful when they do it. They just go scrape, 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 doop, doop, and everything's done. I do it, and I feel like I'm so awkward, and I'm not doing it right. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people do it, but I don't do it. I feel like I don't do it very well, but whatever. All right, that's that. This corner does not look as full as these corners, which is a wee bit concerning. Done that. Okay. Crisis time again. I swear. You can't take me anywhere. I'm just going to clean my tools here. And then I will cover this. And I will try not to spill everything when I do so. And okay, so we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow this should be all cured, and we can work on the letters. I can't wait! Alrighty, I'm back again, and I actually left it for an extra day just so that it would be nice and hard, because it was a little bendy still yesterday. Tomorrow? Whatever. So it looks like it's nice. It has a bit of a weird pattern on it. Whoop. Sorry, I banged my camera there. So I'm just going to peel it off. Ooh. Ooh. It is looking like a Scrabble board. Oh yes. Okay, the pink stained my mold a little bit, but that's okay. It won't come off, or it shouldn't come off in the next, if I make it again. We have tiny little bit of overpour over here, but that's okay. It's coming off, and it's, I don't know if you can see that, it's quite a thin board, which is why I gave it the extra day to just make sure it was well and truly done. A little sharp on the edge. There's little tiny bits of overpour, but that's fine. I am happy with that. I am very happy with that. Very, very. There's a little fuzziness around these, but I think I'm gonna just leave them. Like I could like fill them in with a little bit of my brain, not functioning. This stuff, UV resin. I didn't even pick that up so that you can see it. UV resin. You just put it in a little needle tip bottle like this, and you just put it in there. Okay, and so I have my board, and I have 2 of these. When I spilt that resin yesterday, I got a little bit on there, but I'm not too worried. And then we have this one, the third one. Whoop. Again, overpour from where I spilled that. I can't believe I did that. Okay, let's try and get this out as best we can. There we go. Whoop. There we go. Again, a bit sharp on here. We can fix that up. We have one of these, but I find I bought a cheap one, and it doesn't really work as well as I would like it to. I mean, that's not bad, but it's still pretty sharp, so I'm gonna need to go over it again. It works, but I'm not. I also like to use my trusty dusty wallpaper knife. And this one, you have to be careful because you can easily always do it towards me, which is probably bad. I'm not really under the camera, am I? Which is probably bad. Sorry, that's me, and I don't have any Kleenex nearby. You can do it away from you as well, like that. Just an emery board, and you can just do a quick little stuff like that. Should not be doing this over the board, but you want to be careful. Like you want to be careful with dusting or with sanding because it makes all that dust. See? So sometimes what I do is I'll just push it down with a little alcohol. And then do like a wet sand. You can use water too. I just happen to have alcohol handy. And then you do a wet sand, and then you don't have to deal with that dust. And then when you're done, you grab your paper towel, and do a quick wipe, and you're all nice. And it's all nice and smooth on the bottom. No places where it can cut you because resin can be very sharp and it can cut you. Okay, so there's that one all nicely. So I'm going to pour the letters in another video, and I will pour my last one of these, so I will have 4, just in case. You never know when you might want to invite somebody to play Scrabble with you. And that will be in the next video. So I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to like or subscribe if you think you might want to see the next part. And remember to spread a little sparkle and always be kind to yourselves and others. I will try to get some nice pictures up of the completed board, and see you soon.